Lacota, I know you have talked to us a little bit about how in high school you kind of played all over the field. Have you ever run a fake punt or been the ball carrier on a fake punt like that before?
Two. I was the punter, so there was one where we got a look we liked, so then I ran to the right. Kind of similar just from being at the punter spot. And then one, we faked through it. I'm not going to lie, through an interception. But I definitely been a part of two fakes before.
And after the game, Coach was talking a little bit about how, it's rare to see a fake punt. It's really rare to see two and see two converted on the same drive. What were you thinking when that was called again and you were going back out there to fake that again?
It was just more like we definitely practice it since the beginning of the season. Like it's something we had every week, and then going out there, we just got a look that we liked, and we just went out and executed it. Both Trent, JT, and AG had tremendous blocks on that front side. The back side did their job, and it just worked out both times.
I know we asked you a little bit about it a couple weeks ago, just blocking with Josh and all the things that Dean Kennedy lets his tight ends do in the offense. How impressed have you been of his blocking ability, and what's it like kind of blocking with him when you guys go in together on two tight end sets with Josh Pfeiffer?
Yeah, watching film yesterday, right after the film, I went up to Pfeiffer. I was like, dude, I didn't know you had like 10 pancakes. Like, he blocked tremendously. Obviously, a lot of times we're out there running 12 personnel, so like I have my job at hand. He has his own job. And then when I first go through the film, I usually just kind of go on like through myself, and then when we go in through as a group, we watch every rep. So like that's when I could really take pointers and tips from the other tight ends. And I thought Josh played a hell of a game. I thought his run blocking was very dominant, and it's a big reason we were able to move the ball.
Do you feel that your confidence as a receiver kind of just grows like every week as the season progresses?
Yeah, definitely confident with catching the ball. Obviously, it even just goes through practice. Usually, every period of practice, the first thing's tempo, which is good on good, and it's just getting the start. This week, actually, first 2 out of the 3 balls went to me, so it's just gaining confidence and seeing it throughout like the week rather than don't get a ball all practice and now this is the first ball I'm receiving on Saturday. So definitely just being able to continue to rep it improves my game.
You kind of mentioned it there, but you've been one of Zoe's most consistent receivers. What has it been like building that relationship with him?
Very good. When I first got here, Zoe thought I was like an older guy. He really did. And he told me that. Like, he thought I was like a grad guy. And the more just like talking to each other, even to the fact where like we'll play the video game with each other once in a while on like on a Sunday or something. And just realizing like to build a relationship even beyond football, like to build trust that like he knows like we're on the same page, and like us, like I ask him things, or like I'll be like, hey, like, what do you want me to do there, rather? Because, like, once it comes down to it, like, I want to be in the spot that he wants me to be in. Like, I don't want him have to react to what I do. So just being able to build that and understanding that we're on the very, like, same page, it just helps both of us out.
What does it say about you guys offensively right now when teams are starting to or try to adjust and stack the box a little bit, that you're able to have the success running the football that you had last week?
Obviously, you want to go out there, and it's kind of the confidence of even like how you want to go out there every game and say we're about to win this game, like no matter what. Like you have to have that confidence. So going out there and knowing, all right, like we are going to run the ball, like come stop us. So, like it's kind of the fact of like knowing that they're going to load the box, and like we do a great week. We do a great thing all week just by like getting all different looks. Like even on like a Friday walk within even special teams, like we give ourselves the hardest look. So then like when you're out there and you get a look that you've seen all through camp, all through like the beginning of the season, it's like, all right, like I know what I know what I have to do. So our coaches do a tremendous job by showing us the difficult looks rather than just the easier looks. And then when you go out there and they have linebackers bossed over, you already know where you're supposed to go.
What have you seen on tape with Louisiana so far?
They definitely play really aggressive. Their DNs, I would like to say, besides the kid from Louisville, number 0 is probably the next best DN I'll go against, I would think. Obviously, Cleve Lubin was pretty good. And then just to watch him play more like aggressive, he's more of a bigger body and things like that, and know that at any time they could bring a certain type of pressure, which often means like when you're run blocking, you have to go on like tracks rather than just to a guy, because if someone crosses your face, you have to gather. So just things like that.
You know, I had Coach Chesney talk about the relationship you have with this coaching staff. Obviously, they recruited you to Holy Cross back in the day. It's all kind of come full circle, but it seems like you've got a lot of trust in this staff for coming here the second time after they recruited you. But how about that relationship and how that's grown with Coach Chesney, but also Coach Kanan as well?
Yeah, obviously throughout high school, about 2 years, I'm getting recruited by them. Obviously, I'm a little more like immature and things like that. So getting to the point of like they've watched me mature over time and things like that. Understanding that even coming through high school, like that was always my favorite staff, just because like I want to win. And wherever Coach Ches went, like it's always been winning and things like that. So like, why are you gonna like go away from winning? And then just like relationship wise, just allowing they definitely allow me to be me, and they definitely allow me to like be a leader, and they allow me to be a voice, and they allow all things like that. So like to know that they have confidence in me just builds my confidence even higher. Obviously, like I'll be around the facility, I make little jokes and things like that, and it's things you're allowed to do. Even Coach Chesney has a lot of like, in a way, like sayings of just like, you know, like even the point of like just being like schematic, like your best is good enough, things like that, where it's like, honestly, like it's things that I want to buy into, where sometimes people preach certain things that like you fully buy into, but everything he says, like I really like, I think about, and I really think it's a good thing to like go about business with and carry with yourself. And then within Coach Cannon, just being with him, like, because like through high school, he wasn't like my area recruiting coach. Like obviously he was the position, but I had a different guy recruiting me. So like we communicated, but just not as much. So like getting here is when I really started to like learn more about him, understand like the type of coach he is and like the heart he has into this game and things like that. So like definitely just like I have a lot of respect for those guys.
Where has your game grown the most since you got on campus and switched from DN to tight end?
Honestly, just playing offense. I like to say, like, obviously within everything.
Your hips aren't stiff anymore?
No, a little bit looser, still tight though. But I like to think definitely the pass game. Like run game, it really just comes down. Like your footwork is huge, your hands are huge. But like if you're aggressive and you're strong, you could get away with a lot of different things. Like if you're strong enough, like you could maybe have a bad first step and make up for it. But within the pass game, like you have to be in the right spot. Like you have to get in and out of a break to the right point. Just having like a quarterback friendly angle, and then being able to like, keep your eyes, track the ball, things like that. So I would like to say within the pass game, I probably improved the most.
How much does Big Brother watch and critique you and give you some pointers?
Definitely a lot. He's the first person I call after the game. So like after the game, you know, you get undressed, shower, do all that, and then I get on my phone, I call him, and he was already watching my game, things like that. And he'll tell me, like after week 1, I did not run block well, and I knew I didn't. I was a little upset with myself, and he would give me like ideas and tips and pointers, and you know, I have an iPad that I watch the film. Like I even FaceTime him, like show him some things and like ask him. So he definitely helps me a lot. And before the game, even when he was in college, I was like, we would text each other, just like, you know, go out there, like make each other proud. Like this is what it is. Like we could do this. And it gets to the point where like we're each other's like biggest fans. Like we really support each other. So it definitely means a lot.
How challenging was it early in the game? Again, not a ton of fans there. There wasn't a lot of juice. It took a while to kind of get going. Was that a challenge for you guys to kind of get going as a team?
Yeah, it's always different being somewhere else. You're out here Monday through Friday, like it's somewhere where you get a little comfortable with. Obviously, you don't want to look at that like that, because then you go to Louisville and, oh, now it's too loud. Like you don't want to get to the point where like you can't ask for a perfect circumstance. You just have to go out there every day and just, no matter what it is, like we have to go out there and execute. We have to go out there and play our brand of football. So it really gets down to the fact of just if there's 50 people there or 50,000, like we just have to play our football that we are capable of doing, that we have to find.
A little bit more with him going against Ted Hurst. What was it like going against a guy that, you know, comes into the game with all of the accolades that he does, but then someone who, you know, you look at even on paper has the size advantage and everything in that aspect?
It's a pretty good matchup. It's a very great matchup. He's a great player, but you know, all the confidence that the coaches and the players around me they give me just as much confidence to go out there and, you know, just own up to that matchup. So it was a very good matchup. Great player, but you know, I went out there with the exact same confidence I do every game.
What's the week of preparation like when you are looking to go into that role a little bit more than just playing nickel? You know, it really doesn't change. You know, I go into every game the same game plan, the same mindset. That every game you can't really change your mindset, especially in football. So me going into this game, it was really just the same preparation, making sure I take my same steps, making sure I know my key reads and everything like that. And then Coach mentioned this, and JT after the game on Saturday did too. You know, this team last year maybe doesn't walk away from this game with the win. What have you noticed that's different about this team and its confidence so far this season?
Our confidence is out the roof. You know, as a team, we have built great confidence and our ability just to go out there and win, having the mindset that we're just going to go out there and win. There's no doubt that we're going to let up in any point of the game or we're going to lose at any point in the game, especially when we gave up that first touchdown. We was still like, we're still going to win at the end of the day.
JT is another guy that's been moved around within this defense a lot, and he said there was a lot of dialogue with Coach Hitchler, a lot of work in the offseason to be able to get to a point to do that now in the regular season. What was that kind of preparation in the offseason, and what were those conversations like for you with Coach Hitchler?
Very good conversations. You know, being able to move around, play different positions. You just like Coach Chesney said, you have to be able to handle it. So being able to get that extra film study, to have those mature conversations, definitely helped a whole lot, especially with me and JT. Me moving out the corner, you could see JT moving down in the box a whole lot. So being able to handle it at first, and then also having those good conversations with Coach Hitz and our position coaches to be able to go out there and execute.
And I know Katie asked you about Ted Hurst, and she mentioned his size. Something that Coach Chesney and Coach Hitchler have talked a lot about is how you play a lot bigger than you actually are. Yeah. Is that something you think about when you're lined up across a guy like Ted Hurst?
It's not at that moment. I don't really think about it because, you know, football is going to be football at the end of the day. So I just have to go out there and compete at the same level as I always do every play.
Kind of describe what like the sideline felt like after you guys gave up that first touchdown. Did it feel like, all right, we need to buckle down a little bit, or did you guys not really panic at all?
I don't really think our sideline really panics. You know, we just go out there. We know our game plan. We know what we're capable of and what we're able to do. So we just had to come back to the sideline, regroup ourselves, see where we went wrong, see where we have to fix, and we just went out there and executed.
And then in hindsight, how did you make your defense kind of feel to give up maybe 130 so yards in the first two drives, then only allow, I think, 130 so for the rest of the game? How does it what does it do for y'all's confidence to bounce back after being so consistent all season?
Just like I mentioned, our confidence is out the roof. So even doing that, we knew we had to come back and just like settle down. This is not us, and go out there and just execute the way we know we can.
We were talking with Coach Chesney a little bit about Louisiana and some of the changes they've made. What are you kind of seeing from them on the offensive side of the ball?
Their offense is really good. You know, bigger receivers on the outside, very big dudes on the line, and then, you know, their running backs are pretty good as well. And then their quarterback, number 2, he's coming in pretty new. He was just really a guy they put in here and there, but with their starting quarterback going down and him being the new starter, their offense has a lot more things that they're capable of doing with run scheme, and then also having the drop back and just pass the ball as well.
For you, can a game like this, I guess for the entire team, a game like you just had where you don't play your best but you find a way to win, can that really kind of propel you guys? We saw a little bit Gardner-Webb a year ago where you took off after that, but can a game like this really kind of propel you guys?
Oh, yeah, of course. You know, especially a game like this is always needed for certain teams, you know, especially for us. I feel like us not playing our best football, it makes us not get so complacent. So we're going into this next week like, okay, we know what we need to fix, we know what we need to do, so we're just going to handle it accordingly and just go into this next game throwing everything we got at the team.
A lot of guys on this defense, you look at Bush up front, Trent and Gannon at linebacker, you, JT, guys that have been in this system now for a while. Not this system, but know each other. The communication has been talked about a lot, how it's so good. Has it been off the charts compared to other years when you've been out there?
Yeah, the communication out there is amazing. You know, being able to just communicate with the linebackers, the safeties, all the way to the corners, and sometimes the D linemen, you know, is great. Being able to communicate, it helps us execute at a high level and make sure and let us know where each player is going to be at every single moment in time.
And obviously you're bumping out to corner at times, but talk about especially Culp and Eaglin and obviously guys beyond that, but how they're playing at corner. They've really done a good job so far, but kind of talk about those guys individually and how they've been so far.
Those guys are great. J.E., Justin Eaglin, he's been great, especially out there on the outside. Corner's not easy, you know, so them being able to do that, he's been locking down pretty well. And then, you know, Culp on the boundary side, you're really in man the whole game. So with him being able to handle that workload and being able to just go out there and be able to compete at a high level is just great.
Preston had mentioned that Coach Hitch and Coach Chesney have mentioned that you play tougher and play bigger than maybe some people would realize that you do. What goes into creating that mentality to make sure that when you are stepping out on the field that people are going to notice you?
Just the confidence. You know, I can't say enough about the confidence that they instill in me. So being able to just go out there and play for my team, not really just for myself, but going out there knowing that they trust me just as much as I trust them, that just really makes me go out there and play as big as I am.
And then going back to Saturday, as the game went on, it seemed that the atmosphere maybe started to switch a little bit. I know we had talked about that it wasn't the loudest place to play. It wasn't the most lively at times. But as the game went on, their offense started taking more false starts, and the JMU fans started to get louder. How much did you notice that atmosphere shift?
We notice it a whole lot. You know, when you have a fan base like James Madison that's going to travel to games, especially a game needed like at Georgia State where there's not too many fans, the stadium's pretty empty, but you have a whole side of just JMU fans, and you hear them saying JMU Dukes, go Dukes, and all that. That's very needed, especially for a game like that.
I know we've talked a lot about you moving outside this season compared to last year. Where do you feel like your game has grown the most in the last season?
Just my maturity level, knowing more football than I did a year ago. You know, last year I was still getting comfortable moving outside, but now this year I have a lot of confidence knowing that I can play the position and being able to execute my job and just compete at a high level out there.